A new audiophile label? Ooh, do tell. Everybody, thanks for joining. I appreciate it. You found your way over to the Modest Audiophile channel. And yes, today we are going to discuss a new audiophile series. This one called Vinylphyle, and it is coming by way of Universal Music Enterprises, UME. What we'll talk about specifically today is this Bob Marley and the Wailers EXODUS. Originally came out in 1977. More on this in a second. So during this video, we will cover, again, this remastered version, how it was mastered by, all that fun stuff. We'll talk about the presentation, the overall condition. We'll talk about, most importantly, how this thing sounds by going over the soundstage imaging. We'll go over a couple decibel level checks. We'll go over bass, mids, treble, how all that sounds, and then we will get into what's most important, some of these songs and what I heard for the very first time every time I'm listening to this, and get you out of here, okay? All right, let's go. All right, so about 4 weeks or so ago, I'm guessing 3-4 weeks or so ago, I got an email, and it was an advertisement for this new series called Vinylphyle from UME. And the first 4 records that were released at that time were, yes, this Bob Marley and the Wailers EXODUS, but also it came with Nat King Cole's The Christmas Song, the band Northern Lights, Southern Cross. I almost bought that, and I should have bought that, and I still may try to buy that. And then the 4th one was the Velvet Underground and Nico. So those are the first 4 releases. These things priced out at $39.98. So yes, very much in competition with Rhino HiFidelity's series, which is at $39.99 if I'm not mistaken. More on the comparisons on between those two as we get into the video here. So this is the obi that comes with it. What is Vinylphyle? Vinylphyle. So what I'll do is I'll briefly read what this is and hopefully have it scrolling by some pictures as I do so. So this is what it says on the webpage. Bob Marley's legendary album, Time Magazine's Album of the Century, that features the enduring classic songs One Love, People Get Ready, Jamming, and Three Little Birds, is presented in a new audiophile format worthy of its accolades. For this Vinylphyle pressing of the album, Joe Nino-Hernes, more on him in a second, at Sterling Sound cut the album, while producer and filmmaker Don Letts has put together a new essay for the liner notes. So Joe Nino-Hernes, if I'm pronouncing that right, or Joe Nino-Hernes, how did I hear about him? Well, I got these albums, Steely Dan's The Royal Scam, and also Katie Lied. Did a review on this one. Have yet to do a review on this one. And Joe did, in my estimation, an absolute wonderful job on these People's Edition. These are the $30 editions, not the one-steps. So that's how I got to know Joe's work. And I was really excited when I saw that he did this Bob Marley and the Wailers EXODUS. Each Vinylphyle release features all analog mastering from original sources by an elite group of today's top vinyl cutting engineers. The LPs are pressed at the world-class audiophile vinyl record pressing plant RTI at 180-gram black vinyl. Production and packaging seek to honor the stature of these recordings and include tip-on wrapped gatefold jackets in satin matte finish, printed on clay-coated board with archival poly sleeves in a 4-panel insert featuring new liner notes. Backed by RTI's craftsmanship, these releases are produced at the highest levels and include extensive quality controls at every step of the process, from mastering to plating and pressing and printing, ensuring a superb final product. All right. That's your marketing speak. Some of it's very, very, very true, and some of it, well, they got some work to do, and we'll get on that. We'll get onto that during the course of this video. All right, now that we know what Vinylphyle is, let's talk about the overall presentation of the record sleeve first. So here's the front cover. Pretty simple. The back cover. The inside of this nice gatefold. And did you see this? Look at that. right there. There is a seam split, and evidently I'm not the only one that has that. More on that in a second. So let's get into what came inside the record sleeve. As they stated earlier, it does come in a nice poly sleeve from RTI. Very nice. Here is your proverbial tape box cover, just like another manufacturer we know. Here's the front, the back, and yes, a nice essay on the inside. Alright, so like I stated earlier, we have the hits, we have the misses from what their marketing says. Well, yeah, it's a nice gatefold cover, I will say. If I'm going to compare this to Rhino High Fidelity, for instance, right? Another one at that $40 mark, $39.98, $38.99, real close. That one we all know has the most heavyweight gatefold jackets. You could literally use it as a weapon. It is so heavy and sharp. This, it's not a big deal, but it is not in the same class. Same price point, but not in the same class. Also, it did come with that seam split on the inside, which I mentioned earlier. Also, the outside, it does have a bit of a bang job here. Bit of a dent, it's not perfect, it's not mint, blah, blah, blah. How important is that really? Not terribly. I'm just going to show you what I found in the shipping. And I think part of that was because this is how it came. It came in just a very simple cover. Not very thick. No bubble wrap on the inside. Just, you know, for $40 for an audiophile label, I expected a bit more. And that's probably how it got damaged. As far as the seam split on the inside, well, quality control should have been able to pick that up. All right, enough of the overall packaging. It is what it is. It's nice. Most importantly, let's get into how the condition of the vinyl was. Well, for everything the packaging wasn't, the vinyl was excellent. The vinyl was flat. I mean, flat. There wasn't a deviation in its flatness whatsoever. I put it in the Humming Guru when I got it, cleaned it up, put it on, and we'll get into how this thing sounds here real shortly, but it was perfect. No pops, clicks, skips, gosh, nothing like that. Barely, I mean barely a hint of any type of surface noise between tracks, barely. Overall, I am very, very pleased with the condition of the vinyl. So I got lucky there. Packaging, not so much. I will say I did receive a survey from Vinylphyle. I filled it out, I let them know pretty much just what I told you. I did get a 20% off discount on something in the future, but that was the extent of that. All right, so let's get on to how this thing sounds. So the first, we'll talk about the tone stack. We'll start with the bass. The bass was huge, humongous, warm, fat. What else did I put here? Just huge, great bass. Really great bass. In fact, when we get to the first song on side one, I'll tell you all about it. As far as the mids go, mids were no slouch either. Mids were excellent. Great vocals, great instruments, great drum smack. More on that in a second too. And then for the overall treble, yeah, highly detailed, but not at the expense of bass. When I mean highly detailed, not ear fatiguing in any way. There was no sibilance. There was just great projection in the upper register. It was fantastic. Really nice, well-balanced tone stack. And I put here, my speakers ate this record up. Got these super Linton speakers here, and they loved this record. They couldn't get enough at it. Anything this record threw at it, the Wharfedales just lapped it up. It was fantastic. So let's get on to soundstage and imaging. As far as the soundstage goes, it was big, really big. You had a good 5 feet left or right of the speakers. My speakers are 9.5 feet apart. I sit 9 feet away. Yeah, the sound was coming out, portraying itself rather, from 5 feet left and right of the speakers. Very nice. As far as height goes, I was getting, the soundstage was reaching the ceiling and it was going down to the floor. So as good, as big as any other soundstage that I have in my record collection. Really, really well done. As far as the overall image itself, this is where this thing shines. I was a bit surprised. Don't know why, but I was. Not having had anything from Vinylphyle before, I had nowhere to go. The image and the depth were excellent. All the instruments separated in such a way in which it was like laser etched on a piece of glass. Really nice. Layers upon layers upon layers. We'll get more on that when we get into some of the songs. But I'd say this easily projects foot into the room, and it goes all the way back to through the back wall in certain cases. My speaker's about 3 feet away from the back wall. So I'm getting a really good amount of depth. Image was holographic at times. Just, again, superior image and in soundstage, really nice. All right, let's get to a couple decibel level checks. First thing, before I get to it, I will say is this record's cut hot. No doubt about it. I usually keep my volume on my integrated around 67, and I do take notice when I've got to bump up the volume or I've got to turn it down a little bit. I didn't turn it down because there was nothing harsh about this record whatsoever. But this thing came in pretty hot, a good 3 decibels above my normal listening experience, if that makes sense. So, first decibel level check was the last song on side 1, called Exodus. Yeah, got a low end of 60, high end of 95 for an average listening of 84. Which is just at the top end of my sweet spot. I'd like to listen to it between 80 and 82, but I'll take it. It was awesome. Now, the second one I did was the last song on side 2. One Love, People Get Ready. Get ready. You know how this thing starts with that rim shot? Pow! Well, that rim shot had a decibel of 100. So the low end was 61, high end was 100 right off the bat for an average listening of 84 decibels. So yeah, this record really punches you, smacks you around. It's got great range. You feel the thump. You feel this music as much as you hear it. All right, now let's get on to some of the songs and what I heard for the very first time, or what I wanted to certainly let you folks know about, because frankly, there's a lot of really good stuff here. So let's get on with side 1. In this case, they call it part 1. All right, part 1 starts with Natural Mystic. Right away, boom, fat bass. First thing I noticed was, oh my gosh, this thing is huge. Huge bass and a lot of details, which is just a great mixture. So you're getting that big, warm thump of a bass, and you're still getting the nice sparkle up on top. Great depth with the guitars and drums, and I put here back into the wall and beyond. So really great depth. Right away you're going, I sat up in my chair and went, oh my, this is really good. I'm in for a nice ride. On to song number 2, So Much Things to Say. Lots going on and lots of space I put here. I'm hearing more stuff every time I listen. I've listened to this record now 6 times. Every time I sit down, I'm pulling something new out. Like this song and many others on the record, so much going on and so much space in between the instruments and the vocals. It's a real joy to listen to it. Yeah, great song, number 2. So much things to say. All right, on to song number 3, Guiltiness. I put excellent depth. There's a piano or electric piano that I wanted to call out here because it sounds very prominent, but it's not in the forefront of the soundstage, and it's not pushed all the way back. It's somewhere in the middle of the layers there. But for some reason, I laser focused on that instrument, and it was really pronounced, really well, showcasing really well, I should say, the overall depth in this recording. Great percussion popping off everywhere too, and we'll get to that in a couple more songs. But yeah, the percussion is just popping off in different areas in space. Close your eyes, you can almost reach out and touch where those pieces of percussion are popping off. Excellent. All right, on to song number 4, and that is called The Heathen. Put great panning in the middle of the soundstage. I think it's a guitar, I'm not sure. I don't recall what the instrument was, but great panning effect. And it's not in the forefront, it's not all the way back. It's sitting there right in the middle of the depth within your soundstage. Great panning from left to right. Nice. Great guitar lead and it's projecting very well into your space as well. The guitar lead in this case kind of jumped out from the rest of the recording, and it's sitting in space in your listening room. Very nice. And then the last song on side one, Exodus. Freaking awesome, I put. Religious experience. Really not much more to say about that. Yeah, religious experience. For 7 minutes and 40 seconds, this takes you to another place entirely. New song, I put new song because I never heard it like this before. I never heard the intricacies of this overall soundstage. Again, once again, the layering of all the instruments. New stuff I'm hearing all over the soundstage. Be it the percussion, the different instruments. There's a lot more layered guitars in there than I had thought of. Anyway, yeah, Exodus, a religious experience to end part one. Hey everybody, I just want to say thank you. Yes, thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. If this is your first time here, hey, take a poke around. You just might find something else you like. For those of you that have been here before and have come back for more, from me to you, thank you so much. Hey, if you guys like what you see in here, yeah, go down there and hit like. It'd really help the channel out. If you want to help it out even further and don't want to reach in your back pocket, no, don't do that. Just go down there and hit subscribe. That would really help me out. You know what? Down the road, if you don't want this stuff anymore, you can always take it away. Others have, and I'm sure others will. But for now, that's it for the commercial. So let's get back to Bob Marley and the Wailers Exodus. What a fantastic reissue of this album. Whew. All right, let's get on to part two. Part two starts with jamming. Drum intro, it's in your lap. You know the drum intro to jamming. And it's sitting there, poof, right in your lap, projecting very much into the listening space. I put percussion is everywhere on this track. Layers, every instrument, if you look at your depth, and this is something that I really want to call out on this song in particular. So take the depth, right? The front of the speakers, your listening room, all the way to the back wall. And then every instrument is sitting at a different distance from your ears, creating this illusion of excellent depth. Well, every instrument, every track that they were working on within this song was set at a different depth within your soundstage. I can't really articulate it any more than that. A wonderful song to listen to, and again, I was taken aback. I couldn't believe how well this record was sounding. So yeah, it ended at 3 minutes and 31 seconds. I wish this was longer. What a way to start part two, jamming. All right, let's get on to the second song, Waiting in Vain. I'm not going to say a lot about this song. It's just perfect. If you know the song, it's perfect. Great lead guitar projection I put here as well. Loved Waiting in Vain on this remaster. Fantastic. Let's turn into song number 3, which is called Turn Your Lights Down Low. One thing I'll remark about this is Bob's vocals are just pure magic on this track. A lot of space around his vocals amongst a very detail-oriented soundstage and image. His vocals project really well. Again, more layering. Wonderful backing vocals, too, I put on this song. You get some background singers, and those backing vocals are set in isolation, meaning they're very easy to discern from the rest of the instruments and vocals going on within the track. And the bass in this one is moving air. Yeah, bass, you feel the bass on this song. Excellent stuff. Fourth song, Three Little Birds. Big, big, and big. I mentioned big. This song is huge. I didn't think it would sound this huge if you know the song, but boy, it really projects well in my space. It filled up this entire listening room. Excellent. And great, I put here just great space between all those instruments. A delight to listen to. And that brings us to the last song on the album called One Love, People Get Ready. Put here that freaking rim shot, that freaking 100 decibel rim shot. Pow! I just put my gosh. I said a couple other things, but man, it was absolutely fantastic. Drums are popping all over the place. An excellent, excellent way to end this album. After listening to it for the first time, I put it right back on again and listened to it again. This was such a joy to listen to. I would stack it up against any of my better audiophile labels. Man, it was absolutely a joy to listen to. So let's get to my final thoughts. This record costs $39.98. They are trying to compete with, let's just say, Rhino HiFi, right? An all analog other label. Kevin Gray does all that stuff. And they're competing with maybe 33 RPM from Mobile Fidelity or Analogue Productions. Right around that $40 mark, right? Okay. Sound-wise, takes a back seat to none of them. The sound on this record was nothing less than extraordinary to my ears in my listening space, or maybe I had some preconceived notions, whatever that may be, it blew me away. So yeah, for $39.98, is it worth it? Hell yeah. Absolutely it's worth it. If you are a soundstage and imaging fan like I am, you kind of have to go get this. Go find somebody who has it or get it yourself and check it out. It's delightful. If you're a Bob Marley fan, an Exodus fan, heck, what did I say? Somebody said this was the album of the century by Time Magazine. Well, if it's the album of the century, you got to do yourself a favor. Go out there and get a copy of this thing. They are still available as of today, which is November 21st, Friday. Now, on to the overall quality control and packaging. Well, look, if you're a record collector and you're trying to collect for money, well, then you might be disappointed on, at least if you get your seam split in your gatefold jacket or you get a dent. I mean, the only thing I would say, Vinylphyle from Universal Music is find a better way to package these things, all right? Mobile Fidelity packages them better. Analogue Production packages them better. Rhino HiFi packages them better or ships them better. So maybe I just got a dud, but the most important thing is the record sounds flawless. And what a joy to listen to. All right, everybody, that's it. Bob Marley and the Wailers Exodus Vinylphyle series. Fantastic. I highly, highly recommend this thing. So do yourself a favor. If you're in the United States like I am, we're coming into the holiday season. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. You might want to do yourself a favor. You matter. You may need a little decompression time at the end of the day or on the weekend. So go out there, place an order for this thing. They are still available. Spend your $39.98, have it shipped. Plan on the date of arrival. Get your favorite beverage. Put it aside, give this thing a nice bath when you get it, put it on your turntable, turn the lights down, I don't know, maybe put a little incense on, whatever to get you into the island spirit, and enjoy the ride this thing is going to give you. What a fantastic way to put a smile on your face in an otherwise stressful time of the year. That's it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I did. Go get yourself some. Until the next time. Thank you so much for coming by today. Check you out later. Bye.